But let's move into the next topic, and we were talking about Kawhi Leonard going to the Toronto Raptors. Now OddsShark, or very recently OddsShark, put the Raptors at #1 at even odds to land Kawhi Leonard. Now Chris Carter, who apparently has been dropping a lot of dimes on Kawhi Leonard, said that he's not going to want to play in Toronto, and it's most likely not going to happen. But it's out there, so should the Toronto Raptors trade for Kawhi Leonard is what we're going to be talking about right now. Obviously, the Raptors going through some changes, firing Dwayne Casey, hiring Nick Nurse, trying to revamp this team. Nick Nurse, a guy that helped change the Toronto Raptors, and we saw that change, with the influx of threes that the Raptors started shooting this year. This is a team that was very good in the regular season, then ran into the LeBron train. We'll see what happens. Ricky, should they trade for Kawhi Leonard?
You know what? I kind of want to say yes, and the only reason why I want to say yes is because with Toronto right now, you make the move, you get rid of Dwayne Casey. The next question you have to ask yourself is, it's a similar question that we've posed about the Wizards. It's a similar question that we're asking right now about the Trailblazers. It's DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Is this pair going to work? Are we ever going to win a title with this pair? And the answer for me is probably no. Boston's going to be a better team in my mind. Toronto might finish with a better record than the 76ers, but the 76ers are more promising with young talent for the future. So, I look at Zach Lowe's trade that he came up with, that Toronto would have to get rid of DeMar, OG Anunoby, a future first, and then either one of Ski Scam, right,
Siakam.
or Siakam,
Pascal Siakam,
right, or Jakob Poeltl. One of those three with OG and DeMar. And the whole question that is the linchpin in this is, if you're Toronto, could you convince Kawhi to stay? Could you do the Oklahoma City Thunder treatment and get him to stay? Or is that hard no? Is that hard no really a hard no from Kawhi?
Just try a Jedi mind trick on him?
Basically, yeah.
That's what they need to do.
That's what they need to do. LA is not the team you're looking for.
Here's the thing. And Dave, I know we usually go to you next, but I don't know.
Sean, you like to rant about this boy, so rant away.
It's more about Toronto, and you brought up, is the pair of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry going to get them a championship? Is Kawhi Leonard swap for DeMar DeRozan going to get him a championship? Is it just going to get rid of young pieces like OG Anunoby and Jakob Poeltl? What is the point for Toronto? Because you're going to have Kawhi Leonard. If you make him stay, then great, but then you have Kyle Lowry, who's 33 years old.
I would say having
at the end of his
third best
contract.
player in the NBA is better than DeMar DeRozan.
Okay, but then you're also going to have
game.
Kawhi Leonard and less depth, and you're going to have to then pay Kyle Lowry on your team, after the 2019-2020 season, who's going to be 34 years old, to keep another pair around him. I mean, who's going to play next to Kawhi Leonard? The reason why Paul George stayed was because he has a top 10 player on his team and Russell Westbrook next to him. With, Kawhi Leonard, if you're going to Toronto, yes, Nick Nurse has showed some promise, but you're getting rid of his best teammate in DeMar DeRozan in that deal. So I don't understand it from Toronto's side, because bringing in Kawhi Leonard, shipping out DeMar DeRozan, isn't going to help you win a championship. And you're also shipping out a guy in DeMar DeRozan who is very committed to this Toronto team. And I'm not bashing you. I'm bashing Zach Lowe, who brought up that trade deal. I'm not bashing Zach Lowe. I like Zach Lowe. I think he's a good writer.
He's a big fan of the show.
Yeah, big fan of the pod. The ESPN guys love us. Everyone loves us. We're great. You should rate us 5 stars on iTunes. But I just don't know why that would make sense for Toronto. I understand it's an idea, but if I'm making a deal for Kawhi Leonard and I'm Toronto, I'm not giving up DeMar DeRozan. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it'd be crazy to do that. DeMar DeRozan actually chose you over going home to LA. Why would you give up a piece like that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be the guy.
He was
in
the
Toronto.
first over Paul George. He's going to be the second. He's going to be the third after Kawhi Leonard does it too after this year.
I mean, it's just mental to think that they would move a guy who wants to be the face of the North and just for a 1 year shot. He wants to be the Jon Snow. He wants to be Jon Snow. He wants to be the guy in the record books. You look at Toronto Raptors, and they've had great players, yes, but they've never had a guy stick it out with them. Obviously Chris Bosh left, Vince Carter left.
Yikes.
You got to look back. I mean, I know they had other players in between, but point being, this is the guy who wants to be the face of the franchise, and you're going to move him for a 1 year shot. You're going to roll the dice on a Kawhi Leonard who, like Sean said, doesn't necessarily mean you're even a better team going up against the Boston Celtics. It just means that you gave up multiple young pieces for a deep team, you know, that you're hoping to maybe convince him to stay.
And that was the best part about Toronto last year was the depth. I mean, we saw how much that team could do. Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam. I mean, there was so much depth on that team, and obviously you had to go.
They were the true Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
they were 10 deep.
You had to look into the starting lineup. Obviously, they had Lowry, they had DeRozan, they had Serge Ibaka, Valanciunas. I mean, they had a really good team. It just was the fact that you ran into LeBron James. I say, really, maybe this is the critical year because you have Nick Nurse. You know, give him one full year as the head coach.
LeBron
even though he's been an assistant.
basically manifest destiny.
Yeah, LeBron's gone. So now you have the shot with LeBron out. Maybe you can get to the NBA Finals. I think this is the year that you go with Kyle Lowry and
you're
DeMar
not going to see LeBron in the final, so you don't have to worry about turning into the baby dinosaurs.
Exactly. I mean, you're probably not going to win the NBA Finals, but getting there for Toronto would be absolutely massive. And getting past the Eastern Conference Finals hump would be absolutely massive for Toronto. And doing it with DeMar DeRozan, doing it with Kyle Lowry, guys that have been there for so long, probably two of the best, if not the two best, Toronto Raptors in history. I get it, Vince Carter was flashy, he was phenomenal, but he also didn't want to play there. I don't think Toronto fans should hold him in that great of a light. You look at Chris Bosh, he was good, but he never did anything. He never did anything in the playoffs just because, again, he didn't have that great of a team around him. That was some dark times for Toronto.
And who could forget Andre Bargnani?
And who could forget Andre Bargnani? And
top pick of the draft.
Like 3 seasons, T-Mac was there. Charles Oakley, who just got a DUI, was on that team as well. I mean, like there was times that they had great players, but like you said, there was never times that they had faces of the franchise. And I don't think Kawhi is that guy. I don't want a coward as my guy.
There's the shots fired.
I don't think he's a coward.
I'm gonna break.
That's for you.
How is he not a coward?
I just don't think he's the reason why I don't think he's a coward is because I will defend Kawhi Leonard until I'm blue in the face.
Why?
He's
not going to defend himself. Why are you going to do it? You don't know.
This whole thing with Kawhi could basically change the league. It could change the league for players to basically say, will we see then more players a year out from their contract go, yeah, you know what? I'm going here. I want to play only here. And this is what's going to happen.
So why is that good though? What's the benefit?
I am on the side of I like the league. Like the thing I love the most about the NBA compared to the NFL is I look at the NFL and it's controlled by the owners, controlled by the teams. I look at the NBA, it's a players' league. The players have the power. They can move wherever they want. People bitch that, oh, you know, this player moved to this team and the league is ruined.
Okay, what does this have to do with Kawhi, though? It just makes it more of a players' league?
Because he is calling his shot, basically, saying, I want to play here in LA. I don't care. I don't need Kawhi to come out and be on a megaphone from the mountain saying everything.
But that's why I'm saying he's a coward is because he's not doing it himself. It's his uncle leaking reports. We don't know what's true. We don't know what's true. Like, you know, what has substance here. We don't know if, you know, the Clippers are in the running. We don't know if Toronto's in the running. If LA's the only team, I would rather have it be heard by Kawhi Leonard.
Everything that was newsworthy about LeBron and his free agency didn't come out from his mouth.
Okay, but also that's LeBron James. He's the greatest player to ever.
So we're just going to give a pass to certain players.
But also, he's not holding up a team's future in San Antonio.
Well, kind of Cleveland.
When?
Just now.
Is he holding up their future? I mean,
their future's ruined now.
But all of Cleveland was based around LeBron James. And was Cleveland going to trade LeBron James if he said he was leaving? No. So he wasn't holding up their future. LeBron James was there. Now he's not.
It was his time to leave. Kawhi's not. He's still in a contract.
I am perfectly
no one thought Kawhi was going to leave as well.
I am perfectly fine with players if they are unhappy somewhere saying, I demand a trade and I want to go here.
We don't know if he's unhappy because there's reports saying that he is unhappy. But there's also reports saying that he still likes Pop. There's still talks that he still cares about Pop. There's talks that his uncle don't want to get Kawhi and Pop alone in a room because Kawhi might change his mind. Because I think Kawhi doesn't have a mind of his own and he's a coward.
No. The way I'm not reporting. The way I'm relating it is the fact that you can still like somebody, yet still not want to work somewhere. Like you could be at a job, go, you know what? This environment is a terrible environment, but you know what? Pop, I have no hard feeling. I still like you. I respect you, but I need to get out of here.
The fast break is a horrible environment, but I still like Ricky and Dave. Like that.
Exactly.
Okay, but my thoughts is that I would like to tell you that before I left, rather than me going on Twitter. Not even me. My mom going on Twitter and saying, Sean's not happy with the Fast Break podcast. And that's tweet that out to Woj, and Woj is going to drop a bomb. I'm just saying that
Pop
again.
and Kawhi have had
I'm just saying that again. If I'm a Toronto fan, I would not want that player on my team, especially getting rid of a player in DeMar DeRozan who has been so crucial to the Toronto Raptors.
Has Kawhi been an angel in this situation? No. Has the Spurs organization been an angel in this in this situation? No. They've done the same thing.
What have they done? That's not, the organization, not the players.
The whole, hey, I'm not going to come out and say it, so I'm going to have my lackeys in Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker.
Don't you dare call Manu and Tony lackeys.
They're Popovich lackeys. Basically, shit talking.
Where was the report that's saying that Pop told them to say that? Because all it said was that
there's
Tony
no
Parker,
report. But let's be honest,
then don't make those accusations.
You're saying that Tony Parker decided to just.
Did you not read the report that Tony Parker was asked by a reporter and he wasn't expecting it? Hey, what do you think about Kawhi's recovery about the same injury that you had? And all he said was, I recovered from a much worse injury, which was true.
I find it hard to believe
that Tony Parker has a mind of his own.
Yeah, he plays for the Spurs. That's where I'm going.
He's been here for 15 years.
An organization that has kept everything close-knit would have one of their respected veterans just go off the cuff.
But he's a respected veteran, so doesn't he have the ability to go out and say what he wants because Pop trusts him because he was there for 15 years? I think by that point, you have the ability to say what you want and speak your mind. Maybe they're all robots. I don't know, but he just left because he has a mind of his own. But let's get back to Toronto and Kawhi Leonard because this team still looks promising, and I don't think they should get rid of it. And I think the team that they have right now and the way that they are kind of laid out with Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Serge Ibaka, OG Anunoby, Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam, Jonas Valanciunas can be a team that's really effective in the East. I don't think they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals playoff. I said it's going to be Boston, Indiana. I know it's July. We'll see what happens when it comes September. Yeah. But I think this team can still be in the top three, like you mentioned. I think the top four teams are going to be Philadelphia. I think they're going to be Toronto. I think it's going to be Boston. I think it's going to be Indiana. I think those are the four best teams. I don't think you should tinker with what you have right now.
And the thing about it is, like, if Kawhi goes, if this trade happened and Kawhi went to Toronto, why would I want to stay with Kyle Lowry, who's going further into his third? Like, Lowry is older than DeMar DeRozan, so you're going to trade the younger one to bring in Kawhi, and then Kawhi gets to stay with the older of the two guards that you had. Well, that's the thing that confuses me.
And that was my point, too, where, again, you're going to have to pay him because he's got this year, next year, and then you're going to have to pay him when he's
33 mil next year?
Yeah, 33 mil. He signed a 3-year, $100 mil contract.
My whole thing is the Raptors aren't the team that I like. They're the team we're talking about right now that everyone's like, ooh, they can make a push. The team that I am still going to bring up, they're just lurking in the shadows.
The Orlando Magic.
Waiting for it. Not Orlando, although they do have a shot. Is the Los Angeles Clippers. I think they are the only team that has a shot to trade for Kawhi and keep him a la the Thunder did with PG.
There are reports, though, again, not from Kawhi Leonard, saying that he only wants to play for the Lakers. It's not Los Angeles, it's the Lakers.
But the thing that, everyone has said this too, he technically never said the Lakers. He's only said LA. I want to play in LA.
No, there have been reports since that in the past week that said he wants to play for the Lakers.
Because remember, it was Lakers, then it was LA. No, I'm sorry, it was LA, then Lakers, then not the Lakers because LeBron signed there. But now we're back to the Lakers.
The Clippers are still in LA. If Jerry West trades for Kawhi, I think they could have a shot. The question is could they get a third team to go in on a trade? Now I want to ask you guys this. I've got two trades for the Clippers getting Kawhi Leonard, and I want to ask you what you guys think. Do you want trade A or B first?
Just give me A.
Trade A. It's a 3-team trade between the Clippers, the Spurs, and the Charlotte Hornets.
Ooh,
the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard.
But why are the Spurs in there?
Because they're getting rid of Kawhi Leonard.
I was just trying to make a joke.
Kawhi Leonard goes to the Clippers. The Spurs will get Nicholas Batum, Kemba Walker, first-round pick from the Clippers. Hornets get Danilo Gallinari and Patty Mills.
The fuck?
The fuck did the Hornets get from that? The Hornets get screwed.
They could also do a pick swap, or the Spurs could move a future pick
up Kemba Walker
over to the Hornets. But
Nick Batum, even though he's worth $33 million.
Batum's contract. You move that contract. You get Gallinari as a 2-year player, and you get a guy like Patty Mills. The Spurs would need Patty Mills because they'd be getting Kemba Walker.
Batum, when more healthy, though, is probably better than Danilo because he does more.
But they're both
grabs more
healthy.
boards, grabs more assists, and he's a decent three-point shooter. And I know he's more expensive, but...
Well, that's the whole reason why the Clippers would have to move him is because they're taking on $20 million for Kawhi. The $20 million
I'm saying
contract.
Batum. I'm talking Batum versus Gallinari. I'm talking on the Hornets side. I don't know what the Hornets are getting besides kind of cap relief, but even then, I'm pretty sure Gallinari has more than 1 year left in his deal.
He does, and Patty just signed that deal, so he's getting what, like $11 million a year now?
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
I think he's got. I think it was a 3-year.
So yeah, like they're basically staying even on contract money. Like I don't know that that's going to help out the Jordan vision of we're clearing cap space to make something happen.
So I think for the Hornets it would need to be 1-year deals rather than longer deals.
The other one is put the draft picks wherever you want because draft picks will move. Clippers, Spurs, Blazers, where the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard, Spurs get Dame, and then Danilo and Ginobili move to the Blazers.
They get robbed.
Screwed there too. I mean, you're getting 2 players that really aren't helping you.
They'd have to get like 2 ones.
Blazers are probably going to, like, the
3
thing
ones?
is with the Clippers is how many draft picks are they going to give up to both the Spurs and the Blazers, or the Spurs and Team B if they had a team in their trade?
If Dame is being moved, they're getting back 2 ones. And
it's not
the
enough
problem
for
is
Dame.
That's what I'm saying. Like the problem is the Clippers don't have enough to give away because like these are going to be late ones if you have Kawhi on your team. So I'm not poo-pooing all of your trades. I'm going to poo-poo on your trades.
I'm just saying.
I just don't think, again, like I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to get value for the Spurs.
Right.
And obviously work the Clippers into that. But then I just think the third team in that deal, whether it's Portland or Charlotte, ends up getting
well, unless you add, like, and the question for the Clippers are, would they add a Toby
and also Ginobili
into trades?
What's that?
Would they add Toby Harris into trades?
Oh, I mean, maybe. But I was just saying about Manu, it isn't even for sure that he's going to be playing this year. So, I mean, he's only worth 2.5.
With that one, I mean, I put Ginobili in there because they could move a smaller contract where the Hornets one, they had to move a guy like Patty Mills to make the numbers work, where with the Blazers, they can move someone who's around 2.
I think they look for a team that has some cap space. They can do something. Maybe Brooklyn next year. Maybe
you brought up Orlando.
Atlanta. Maybe Orlando.
So what do you think about that Orlando deal? Why do you think that's possible? Do you think it's possible, at least for Kawhi going to Orlando?
Do I think Orlando can pull off something like that? Hell no. Like, that's just incompetence. No, but do they have the pieces to, entice a team? Yeah, they do.
What do you think those pieces would be enticing for Kawhi and not really screw up what they're trying to build in Orlando?
That's the problem. It's like they've got young guys, they've got tall guys, and honestly, like the pieces that are moving would be Fournier and Vooch and a 1 or 2 ones. I forget what it was, but yeah, you'd be moving quite a bit of like pieces that you don't care about. Like they don't like Fournier, great shooter, but they're not in love with him. He's not part of the future. He's not part of the Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac.
There's a reason why
Mo
he was in every one of my mock drafts.
He's not above 6'10". We don't care about him.
Well, Kawhi isn't above 6'10".
Yeah, well,
and Vooch is so.
Is
Vooch more valuable than Kawhi Leonard?
That's an Orlando Magic question.
Vooch for Kawhi straight up? Is that
straight
the
up?
new fucking thing?
He be the Draymond?
That's a kick in the face of Draymond.
They've got pieces. They've got cap. They could make something work, but Kawhi doesn't want to play there.
Kawhi, so.
I mean, he kicks manhood out of people.
That's true. At least backs it up. I don't think Kawhi's getting traded anytime soon because I don't think LA is making a move. Because why would they? I think they'd be dumb to because you're giving up young assets.
They're playing the Paul George game again. They're going to stand in front of the train and see what happens.
And again, it's not for sure certain that it's going to happen, but it might.
That's what you have to be afraid of. But at the same time, you trust in your drafting and you trust in the building youth.
The only thing that's interesting
the only thing that I think would screw over Los Angeles getting Kawhi would be if Kawhi does play and he does end up getting injured again, which then would screw him over, and maybe the Los Angeles Lakers would be more hesitant to bring him in.
I mean, the thing that's the most interesting thing about it is like the Celtics and the 76ers were the 2 teams to where it's like, if anyone could make a move, they could. But then you've got the Celtics where it's like, yeah, forget about J-Tay. We're not even going to give you Jaylen Brown. And then you've got we don't know if the Spurs would even want him, but you've got the 76ers going, no. Markelle Fultz is a no-tradable asset.
The youngest triple-double in the NBA.
So, there's that to where it's like, wow, these 2 teams that could have been the best spots for him don't even want him. Don't even want to we'll keep the young pieces we got rather than trade for Kawhi Leonard.
I just don't think Kawhi's going to get moved anytime soon.
I think he gets traded by the deadline.
Where? But that's
anywhere, because the Spurs are not going to lose him for nothing.
That's the thing is I don't think he's going to get traded this offseason at all. So I think we're going to wait because we're going to have to see Kawhi
in the season. He will.
We're going to have to see Kawhi in a Spurs uniform. Is basically what's going to happen. And then once he's playing and maybe he pulls that whole. I think Vince Carter pulled it. Where, hey, we have an injury. I played. I have an injury. You can't say that I didn't try, and you can't make me a free agent.
Let me throw this out there. Tinfoil hat. What if the T-Wolves make an offer with everything?
Jimmy Butler swap?
With that? No. They keep Jimmy. They get rid of the Cat Wiggins, and you kind of sell Kawhi on a team built but around him and Jimmy, which would work because they're both defensive players, and Thibodeau loves defensive players.
Who are you giving up in that? The T-Wolves still.
The T-Wolves, it would be wrapped. I think you'd have to give up Cat and the Spurs would be greedy and want Cat and Wiggins.
You can have Wiggins, but you're not getting Cat. No, it would be Wiggins, Tyus Jones, and
we have the Clippers giving up Danilo Gallinari, and they're getting Kawhi Leonard, and now the Timberwolves have to give up both. Cat and Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins, I'd be fine.
Or if they trade just Cat, that's a thing of will that happen? Will that whole because we don't know what's going to happen with the T-Wolves
might be asinine. And I understand if you want to jump on this and bash at me, whatever. But I think Cat is probably the most valuable young player, at least on the ones thrown out there. I'm saying Joel's not being thrown out there in trade talks. Okay. I'm saying J-Tay, Jaylen Brown. Yep. I'm saying out of the young assets that throwing Cat in there.
Between Brandon Ingram,
would be the guy that I would
all that
would be the guy I trade last. I mean, Cat did something. I know he's horrible defensively. He seems like he's trying a little bit more. But even then with Cat, he's a guy that I think only 22 players in the history of the NBA have put up 45% from the field, 40% from three, and 85% from the line. 22 players. I think
he's a spectacular shooter.
I think the only other big was Dirk. He is unreal offensively. The biggest thing is him for defensively, and he's still massively young. The last player I would move would be Karl Anthony Towns. So I don't know about that. I understand where you're coming from, and if Wiggins is enough to do that, then hell, yeah, maybe I would. And I think the Spurs would be more inclined to trade to Minnesota because, again, they aren't LA. They aren't a massive rival to the Spurs in the same conference, but I think it'd be a little easier to swallow for
could Jimmy Butler be the Russ to Kawhi Leonard?
The Rust? Oh, the Rust.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just like PG.
Maybe I thought you were talking about him being like a cyborg again.
I thought you said Rust. Yeah.
Really loved Russell Westbrook. Maybe Kawhi gets traded to Minnesota and falls in love with Jimmy Butler.
And let's play this game for, I think, the 5th time on this channel and this podcast. Where's Kawhi Leonard going to go, Ricky?
It's not going to end. I think he goes.
Does. I'm sick of
I am going to say here, I'm going to give 55% he's a Laker by next year. The other, what would that be, 45% he's a Clipper. He's going to be in LA. He'll be either a Laker or a Clipper.
Free agency Golden State. Market.
Jesus Christ.
Minimum.
I think Kawhi is...
I called the boogie shit, so I'm just saying.
Kawhi's going to go play for FC Barcelona. Why not? He's going to...
Real Madrid?
He's going to go play for Juventus, wherever Cristiano Ronaldo just signed for $400 million. Basically, all I want is, it doesn't matter where Kawhi Leonard goes, I just want him to, again, play basketball. I want to see him out on the floor. This isn't... I just want him to do something. Play basketball. Say you want to go out to LA. I don't care.
Sean's not all about this speculation.
I want to get to the 2018-2019 season, and I want to see Kawhi Leonard play basketball because he's a great basketball player, and I want that to happen. And I don't want all this drama floating around. Get the drama out of my NBA, all right? I want a drama-free NBA.
You're wrong, because drama in the NBA is what makes the NBA better than every other sport.
I want the cool stuff.
The fact that we can see their face, the fact that these people are recognizable, that's what makes you fall in love with it. That's what makes you entwined with the drama.
I can't see Kawhi Leonard's face. He's not playing. He doesn't have any social media. I don't know what he's doing. Where is he?
Where's Ja?
Where is Carmen Sandiego? Where is Kawhi Leonard? We don't know. It's hurt.
Do you know where Kawhi is?
I like the drama. I like KD being a snake and calling out people on
that's what makes it better than every other sport.
I love Joel Embiid bouncing balls off random Philadelphians'
fantastic
heads. It's awesome. I love LeBron.
Did you see him and J-Tay go one-on-one?
Yeah, and then Mo Bamba was there too.
Well, no,
I love that stuff.
The best thing was... Joel, my ball. Your ball, I beat you in the playoffs.
That's great. And even LeBron doing workouts in his home. I love it.
Yep.
Just give me more of it. Just play the ball. Play basketball.
the ball.
Play the ball, Kawhi Leonard.